Welcome back to My Classic Fords. So today I'm going to show you my 67 Fairlane, and if you haven't watched the other video that I put on of my father's Fairlane, you should go check that out. His car is almost perfect. It's unrestored, original paint. For 55 years old, you know, these cars really didn't last any more than 10 years. So for something to last an additional 45 years, there's really nothing wrong with that, no matter the shape they're in. Now this car here is a common car that people patched up. You know, they just kept trying to enjoy it, and every time it rusted out, they just put another patch on it. And I mean, that's just the life of an old car. But I'll show you today, this is a pretty typical patched up car. It's not original by any means. It's definitely not original paint. I don't know how many times it's been painted. It's still a lot of fun. Probably in the next, I don't know, year or two, after the wagon, after the console, maybe I'll get this in and do a little work to it and put it back on the road again. So let's have a look at it. We'll start with the hood. So on my father's car, you could tell how decent it really was just by looking at the front. I mean, you can see here that all the chrome has been kind of picked, and it's got typical road rash on it. You know, the grill's got a ding in it, and the crest is literally gone. The Transflow bottle's not original. But this gives you an idea. You know, this is a pretty typical car. And if you look at the chrome, you can see the amount of scratches and stuff on it. I mean, that's pretty common. If you go look at my father's car, you'll soon see like just how good his actually is. So let's have a look under the hood. So my little Ford sign's gone. Somebody took the letters off the hood. You can see where they used to be. My guess is they probably lost a couple. So the hood's been fiberglassed. Probably the spot welds right here, see how they're lifted. Probably what's happened is the spot welds let go and the hood actually vibrates. So they put a couple fiberglass patches on it. I mean, that's realistically, that's what these old cars did. You have to kind of realize that. So down here on my father's car, I was saying this was a pretty common thing back in the day. People used to cut these out. You can see the grease fitting there. So there's another one there. That's on your shock tower. His car was never cut, which is just, to me, it's kind of cool. This old car that I've got's in pretty good shape as far as, you know, a driver, we'll say, or just a car you want to burn around, have some fun with. Not the original engine, not the original radiator. This car is pretty much just at the point where if you want to have fun with the old car, then this is the ticket. It has no chrome. I do have the chrome for it, but around the wheel wells, it's corroded to the point where it's almost impossible to put back on. And you can see my chrome. It's got heavy pitting. Compared to, like I said, compared to my father's car, it's unbelievable how good his is. You can see my tail lights are pitted real bad. That one's broke. Everywhere in you look this car, it has been fixed. I mean, you can see there's body fill in the trunk. You can also see over here, the body fill's starting to crack. There's probably a patch over the wheel well there. Actually, I know there is. We'll open the trunk and have a look at it. So the reason I'm showing you all this is just to further show for a car that's this old, It's actually amazing that one survived in this good a condition, let alone the one that my father's is in. And see the chrome on my dash? This is what they go like. This is what a typical old dash looks like. You see everything is faded. The ring on the steering wheel, that was actually chrome at one point. We don't have cats living in it. Just showing you the interior. Like if you look up over top, see how weathered that looks. I mean, that's all pitted real bad. And somebody painted this car, tried to do a somewhat of a body job to it. They left all the door seals off. They left the trim off the sills. You can see that the sills have all been clearly patched. There's actually like a second floor welded in over top. The car's decent, but it needs a lot of work. You see the doors are definitely been fixed up and patched up. You know, this stuff here, I'm telling you, that's pretty common for a car that's 55 years old. The top does work, surprisingly. The interior is not terrible. Like, it's got a ripped seat and stuff, but it's usable. You know, it's good. You can throw the kids in it. You can throw the dog in it. You can drive down the road with it, and you don't have to worry about it getting damaged or scratched or tearing the seats. That's the one positive thing about it. You see my dash pad is cracked. Pieces are falling off. I'll show you in the trunk. Alright, so when you looked at my dad's car, you could see his had the original undercoating on it. Mine doesn't. You can see that this is actually a pop riveted patch. My assumption is that's why the body fill's cracked up here, is because that patch is really not even secured. You can see that it's been patched here. That's an entire new trunk panel. And you can obviously tell it's been patched over that wheel well. And, you know, my seams are gone. I showed you my father's car that these seams were still here with the factory seam sealer. This was common. They rot. People just fill them full of body fill and, you know, move on. Saying that, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, people get this misconception that, you know, doing that is bad or putting body fill on is bad. The only thing I got to tell you, really, it didn't hurt the car one bit. It made the car drivable again. In order to fix this correct, you're into a big job. You're talking, take this whole panel off, put a new panel on, and in order to do that, you're going to be talking a $20,000, $30,000 restoration job. And at the end of the day, the original panel only lasted for between 5 and 10 years, and it was rotten. So you're not really accomplishing much better. It just depends on what you want to do. You know, this car here, you can see the trunk. It's got a patch in it. All along the trunk, it's all been patched. You know, it is what it is. It didn't hurt the trunk one bit. The trunk still works. If you want to have fun with an old car, like this one here, probably what I'll do with it is I'll probably put it in the shop. We'll grind the body fill out. We'll just simply put it back in, maybe a little bit better. I'm not knocking the body job that somebody did to it. It's just, it's not quite as good as I would like it. This car here, in comparison to my father's, you know, you can clearly see that it's a pretty typical old patched up car. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. I'll probably patch it up again. And I'll probably get another, 5-10 years out of a body job. And, I can put the dog in it and put the kids in it and have some fun with it. Now, under here, I showed you on my father's car, the original canisters or cocktail shakers were there. Mine are long since gone. Somebody's welded a new frame rail on. That's a piece of the old exhaust hanging there. The quarter panels, they've definitely both been patched. That's not the original spring hanger. The springs in these cars did not hang down that far. This is just kind of the things you see with an old car. Again, you don't know how long these patches have been on here. You don't know how long those frame rails have been done. This stuff gets patched up. Sometimes this stuff gets patched up, say in the 70s, and somebody had this car. Maybe they patched up to get it by safety inspection again, get another couple years out of it. That's pretty common. That's what we do today. So it's really surprising that a car could even last this long, especially in our climate. Like I've said before, in Nova Scotia, our climate's pretty harsh for vehicles. A new car like this, once it gets about 10 years old, you're probably going to start seeing some rust issues. Of course, there is exceptions. Some cars are better than others, or some people keep them better, but the average car around here, probably 10 to 15 years, and that's all you got left. So anyhow, this is what I have for 67. And if you watch this video, please check out my other video of my dad's car, if you like this sort of thing, and you'll see in comparison kind of how good his actually is. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for watching.